You are up, Commissioner.
All right, Bannock County Commissioners are in session, and today we're looking at some Board of Equalization stuff.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we go into Board of Equalization.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. On the docket this morning, we have four properties to look at. The first one is parcel RPRCS PK 000101.
We need to swear these three in.
Oh, that's right. We need to swear you guys in. So Nancy, will you do the duties?
Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Okay, now we can get started.
Vanessa wouldn't approve of you swearing.
On this parcel, this is a fourplex. And
What's the name on this one?
this is Sharon
Okay.
Corvello. So since we have no information from the appellate, Jason will give you a couple minutes to defend your case.
It is actually me.
Oh, all right. Then the floor is yours.
All right.
You got 3 minutes or less.
All right, well, I'm Cammie Brown. I'm in a residential appraisal with the assessor's office. I found the subject property is on 5201 Mesquite Drive. It's a fourplex built in 2007, total square foot 4868. And this year, the fourplexes, we didn't really have a lot in that time, year built, and so I kind of sandwiched it so you could see how the older ones were doing and the newer ones were doing. So I have two that are newer that closely, they kind of look more similar to the subject property. They don't have garages though, and they are a little bit smaller. And then I have a much older one that has the upstairs, downstairs type of fourplex. And it is about the similar size as the other two comparables, so it's much smaller than the subject. But it kind of just, the square footage is kind of right in the middle, in between. If you look at the year built, that one, it comes in lower per square foot at 114 versus the 133, but with almost over 50 years difference in age. That probably is where that's coming into play, the depreciation there. And so I recommend that we uphold the value.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, there was no preponderance of evidence, and so I make a motion that we uphold the assessor's value on parcel RPRCSPK000101.
We have a motion. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next case is, let's do Lisa Jensen, since we know that is another confirmed not in attendance. That is parcel RPRDDOW033600. Lisa is not in attendance, but she did submit some comparables and some thoughts that way. I have reviewed those. Have you reviewed those?
I have.
Have you reviewed those?
Yes.
Okay. Assessor?
So I was able to find some comparables. I found two within the town site of Downey and one in Aramo. I apologize, I made a mistake on my map. My map shows that they're all in Downey. There was a third one that I was able to find in the town site of Downey, but it was from the previous year, so I had to time adjust it, and I couldn't decide, and apparently I did not make my stuff correct. So the comparable shows Aramo, which didn't need to be time adjusted. And the third comparable did need to be time adjusted, so that one in Downey did sell outside of the 2024 time frame. But as you can see, again, she's right in line with the comparable 1 and comparable 3 are on both sides of her property, and the one in Aramo also upholds that value. The fourth comparable that I did found that was time adjusted, it came in at 2.1 per square foot, $2.10. And so again, I recommend that we uphold the value on that as well.
on this one, I did have a couple questions.
Okay.
And I look at the square footage on that, and we're at $127,000. And this lot is broken up into 2 parcels? If I look at the parcel viewer, it looks like there's a strip down the middle
The
of it.
subject?
Yeah, the subject
Yeah, I
parcel.
think that's just the alley, because it looks like it's like a full block.
Okay,
So while technically it's divided, I think officially it's not.
okay. Well, that makes a little bit more sense, because if you just look at one half of it and say it's 127,000,
Yeah.
I would argue with you. but
It's
if you
probably
look at the whole thing.
It's probably an easement.
Right,
It's on
which-
the books, but nobody's done anything with it.
Yeah, so that was my only concern, is if you look at them, it's a left parcel and a right parcel, the 127 doesn't make sense, but if you look at it as one big, I'm okay with that, I think.
And this is in the city of Downey.
It is.
So they're not eligible for ag, which she's asking for.
Even if she were eligible for ag, because she's less than 5 acres, she'd have to prove up and she'd have to make a minimum of $1,000 a year on it. So she would have to file a Schedule F with us, plus an ag hub. So
Yeah.
she probably would not.
Well, and then you look at the lot just ahead of it and how they're divided into building lots and city lots. I mean, that's the capabilities of this property.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, any further discussion on this?
With that, I make a motion, again, with the information that we've been provided, that we go ahead and deny the appeal for parcel number RPRDDOW 033600.
Okay, we have a motion. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The next one, let's look at Sean Wright.
And that's moved to 7-11.
Oh, okay,
Or, yeah, 7-1.
okay. Then that puts us to Jake Richards, 135 Warren Avenue, parcel number RPGVC 004102. We do have a letter, and we also have, actually,
That letter's from the assessors.
yeah, it is, yep. So
There's nothing from the appellant.
that is correct. We do not have any real information from the appellate, so we'll turn the time over to the assessor.
Thank you. Jason Hooker, Bannock County Assessor's Office. When we reviewed this property, just for your own information, this is the property that operates as Oak Mountain Dental over on Warren. When we looked at it, the appellant had concerns due to the increase, and with our commercial costing data for 2025, we were able to do a big update. One of the things that we found with that update is a lot of the base pricing for commercial buildings had been lower and not been updated in recent years, so that came up. It also made adjustments to our depreciation schedule, so some of these buildings are going to depreciate a little bit more than they were. When we looked at Oak Mountain Dental we took 2 different approaches. We took a look at this particular property in relation to other dental offices in terms of just the building and what's it assessed at per square foot, and then the total property. And so as you should have on your second page there, when we looked at our comparable properties, we included 5 of them. And when we look at just the building, which is that very last column on the right, the price per square foot, it is the second from the lowest in terms of how it's being assessed. And all of its peers are of a very similar age. And so I also just ran some calculations today that are not in there, looking at the total assessed value per square foot. And it's actually the lowest from that aspect. So it's right there at the bottom of the bracket with all of these properties. And in our conversations with property owners this year, we've really just worked to explain that any change for 2025 for commercial properties does not necessarily mark that much of an improvement in the commercial market, but when we do see a property that moves up, especially any significant amount, it's really indicating to us that it had been undervalued. until that point. So with this one, everything shows that it's on probably the lower end of equity, and we would just request that the assessed value be upheld.
Okay. Any questions?
No, it hasn't increased in the last 2 years. Value's the same as it was 2 years ago. And so this is a year of adjustment. And we know that commercial that we've been lower. And so it's an adjustment that we're required to make to uphold the law.
Okay. Commissioner, anything?
Not really, I don't know how you judge all these anyway, because businesses even, all you're doing, you're just giving us the information on the building itself. And where that thing's located and everything else, I probably agree that there's just no reason for us to make it, nothing has been offered that would change what you guys have come up with your value, in my opinion.
Okay, I would entertain a motion then.
On parcel RPRPGVC004102, I make a motion that we uphold the assessor's value.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that is it for this morning. We will